Today's episode is sponsored by No Strings Attached e-News, your premier online magazine with interesting and informative articles from lifestyle, entertainment, and news worldwide. Visit the website to find out what's buzzing on nsaen.com. Welcome to the talk show Life Stories with Marc Hoberman. The goal of this show is to provide a learning experience to people of all ages, with guests from various fields in academics, a wide range of industries, and insight into the many forms of art, athletics, and entertainment. We hope you enjoy the show. Comic, actor, singer, writer, Sandra Valls is today's guest. Sandra will talk about her Broadway debut in the musical Real Women Have Curves, as well as her incredible successes in comedy.
Comic, actor, singer, and badass, Sandra Valls. Welcome to Life Stories with Marc Hoberman.
Hi, Mark. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well, thank you. So glad to have you on the show. Really, it's an honor. Thank you so much.
It's an honor for me, finally. It took a
Yes,
little minute there because our schedules.
no problem. Busy is good, Sandra. Sandra,
Yeah.
you've had such a diverse career as both an actress and a comedian. What was the moment or event that first sparked your interest in comedy and acting? And how did you know it was the path that you wanted to pursue?
Wow, that's a heavy question. What was the moment? I remember when I was watching, my mom took me to these plays that had like a traveling company that would come through Laredo. And my mom took me to watch Heidi, the play. And I thought, this is what I want to do. I want to do this. I want to act. I want to be on stage. And so, I mean, what's a defining moment? There are many, many defining moments. I mean, I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to, I mean, I would put on little dancing shows as most kids did for their parents and guests. And I just thought, I just love this. I want to do this for the rest of my life. And I am.
It's so great to be able to live your dream. So one of the reasons why I don't do this, meaning the acting, is it wasn't Heidi, but there was a third grade production when I was in school of Pippi Longstocking. Unfortunately, I was a redhead with a lot more hair than I have now. So believe it or not, I played Pippi. I played it twice. I did not show up for the third performance. I said I was sick, although I wasn't. So I'm glad it worked out for you. To
You
be
played
with
Pippi?
that younger. Yes, I played Pippi Longstocking. I also played one of the
That's
Munchkins.
pretty progressive gender bending.
Oh, back then we're talking over
That's
50,
what I'm saying.
over 50 years ago. I don't mean to brag, but then later on I reprised my role as the Munchkin in the Wizard of Oz stage performance. So that's all good. But I don't think people realize how demanding this entertainment business is. You
Oh, I
know,
thought you were going to say how demanding being Pippi Longstocking
that
is.
wasn't demanding. I hate to tell you, I threw on a skirt. The hair was there, so that could be
You had
demanding.
the
That was emotionally demanding. I can tell you that right now. So you know, people have said to me, interesting, Mark, you're funny. I taught for over 30 years, and people said, "Oh, Mr. Hoberman, you should have been a comedian." I said, "I could easily be a comedian if my family was in the audience, if I knew the people." How do you go in with strangers? And quite honestly, if I said a joke and people didn't laugh, I wouldn't go on stage again for about 3 years. So,
three years.
when I see these mammoth stars say, "Oh, I bombed here and I bombed there." Oh my God, and you're still doing this? So it's so interesting. But comedy can be such a tough industry to break into,
Yeah.
let alone succeed in. So, what were some
Yeah.
of the biggest challenges you faced early on? And how did those struggles
Mm.
shape your approach to both your career and your craft?
Well, the challenges were money. I mean, that was a huge deal. And well, I'm just being funny, but it's being an out lesbian that was a big challenge to me
Okay.
because when I started comedy in the 90s and even in the early 2000s, it wasn't cool. The thing, it wasn't like a given that if you said my girlfriend, people would go girlfriend, you'd go my girlfriend as in my girlfriend, like partner, and they're like, they look at you weird. I mean, it's kind of odd to say at this day and age that people looked at you weird, but they did.
Mm.
Like they would be like, "That's weird." I'm like, "Yes, and I'd have to say, "Yes, a lesbian in front of you." That was a challenging thing. It was challenging because when they had their comedy shows in LA, like they'll be like, "Oh no, it's okay. We already have the gay," and I'm like, "It's the gay guy,
Right.
not the gay girl. There's a difference." And they're like, "Oh, okay." It's also challenging to be a female in comedy back then too. I don't know so much about now because now I get gigs, but back then, oh, we already have the girl. Well, but you also have five guys,
And
but you have one girl. Oh, we have the girl already. So that was the challenging thing. And but I was kind of lucky though. I stumbled into, I hung around with Felipe Esparza and Fluffy,
yeah.
and they were pivotal in helping me with my comedy career in LA. They really were such an amazing support to me. So that was good.
Well, that's the key word. As a former educator, support is so important because now when somebody says my partner, I'm talking as of 10 years ago, people would say, "Oh, you have a business partner?" I mean, it's changed so much. And uh, may I ask what age you were when you came out?
No, you can ask. I was 20, well, 23, 24. I came out late. I came out in New York City when I went to acting school.
Mhm.
And then I just came out like, that's it. This is who I am. I'm not backing down into a corner. I'm not shrinking. I'm gonna, this is who I am, and I'm gonna talk about it. You know, comedy came way later, but I didn't, I didn't hide.
That's an easy sentence to say, but that is not an easy sentence to live. So,
It wasn't. It wasn't. It was, you know, even in New York City when I came out, I remember being, one time I was in the subway and I think I was wearing like a button, some gay pride button. And this man out of nowhere was like, the lesbian. And like, he like said something like dyke or something. And and he was looking at me and I literally ran out of the train and he ran after me.
my God.
Like, then I lost him along the way somewhere. And that was very odd. That was strange, but
Yes,
just got up because of a button.
mhm. And frightening. And now that would be considered commonplace. It's perfectly fine. So thank God times are changing. Look, there's still a ways to go. But I wanna
Yeah.
piggyback on that to ask, as a Latina woman in the entertainment industry, you've been able to break through some stereotypes and create unique roles. So how important is it for you to see even more representation? And how have you navigated the space to bring what you just said, your authentic self to your work?
Well, I think when people see representation, it matters. It matters to see yourself in a platform, on stage, on TV. It matters. It matters for self-empowerment. It matters because people want to be seen. They want to be heard. And in being seen and heard, you then are inspired and fulfilled and can go out and create your social change the way you created yourself. For me, growing up, there really wasn't. I was just talking to somebody about, I grew up in Laredo, Texas. By the way, this is my childhood home. I'm here in Laredo. My mom's there. My old resume picture
That's
right there. The
memories.
sunken living room. Yeah. So when I was growing up here, I didn't see any representation. Like back in the 70s, there was no um lesbians on TV or anywhere. And for me, I felt like, well, I'm not the girl with the guy. That doesn't represent me. So I guess I joke, I said, maybe I'm one of those old authors like Charlotte Bronte who has a crush on their friends. Maybe that's just regular, you know, growing upness. I don't know, if that's even a word.
That's right.
Or maybe I'm a nun because is that what nuns feel like? Is that what, because I don't feel this way for like all the heartthrobs. I don't feel like you feel. Because I
Mhm.
hadn't, you know what I mean? So to me, I was like, my only other option was a nun because there was no option available to me that says, okay, there's lesbians around. I didn't even know what the word was. So I literally thought I'm going to be a nun. And I'm like, then later on, I'm like, no, I'm a huge lesbian.
Mm. Well, it's
I'm
amazing.
really gay. I'm so super gay.
Yes. But you talk about, not coming out to your in your 20s and you keep it a secret. So talk about a
Yeah.
360. Now you just don't say to people dinner party or relative, by the way, I want to let you know that X. Now you're out there and it's part of your act. It's not just who you are, it's who you are as a performer also.
Yeah.
So what flipped that switch? What made you say there's a lot I want to talk about, but I want to talk about this?
Because people use their lives. People talk about themselves. You know, when I was doing stand-up comedy, I was even told, you know, maybe you should hide. It's early 2000s again. Maybe you shouldn't say you're gay. I'm like, well, that's saying that maybe you shouldn't say that I'm Mexican.
Hmm.
Why wouldn't I say how I grew up in Laredo? Why wouldn't I talk about my life? It just seemed to me like just a kind of organic, natural thing to talk about. You joke about what you joke about. And my jokes were about my girlfriend or my life, or you use your life. I'm not one of those comics that was like, and I tried to be, but I'm not one of those comics that was like, hey, what's up with, you know, margarine versus butter or something like like I love Seinfeld. And, you know, to some extent, yeah, that's beautiful. And I see the world in different point of view than most people. But to use your authentic self in your life, I just didn't see any other way. Why am I hiding it? I'm not going to hide it. It's who I am. It's what I talk about.
I think that's a wonderful philosophy, and I have to say that kind of spills into my next question that I think is tremendously important for my younger viewers, and that is comedy is like life in that walk. This is one thing I've had comedians on here before, and I just can't get past this. How do you go on stage, say a joke that you think's going to land, and it doesn't? How do you not, in a world of negativity, unfortunately, how do you not focus on that and keep going? It's part of who you are. You always keep going, but how do you keep going and do the next joke and the next show?
Well, there's a difference between doing the next joke and the next show, but there isn't. I think it's giving yourself grace.
Mhm.
I think you have to give yourself grace. And I think that, you know, in knowing what you shouldn't do, then you know what you have to do. You know, sometimes, like when a joke doesn't land, you're like, all right, maybe the wording is different. Maybe I should have done it like this. Maybe I should have said this or gone like this, or it's your delivery of the joke. There's like, you know, but you can't, a joke does not exist in a vacuum. Like you think, oh, this is funny. It's how you say, it's how you say it and your delivery that you're like, oh, it didn't land. Okay. And but like in life, okay, this didn't land. Plan B, plan C. There's more roads for it to land, for you to get to where you want to go. And that's obvious. If I want to go to the store right now, there's GPS will tell me 3 or 4 different ways to get to that store.
Mm.
It's not just one way, even though one road is blocked. Okay, then you go the other way. There's detours. And so that's how I live my life, actually. To me, it's number one, grace in self, which takes a lot of work and maintenance
Mhm.
and a lot of self checking in and self knowledge, I guess, to get to know who you are, but also to have faith in self. Like there's this quote that I love that says, the bird is never worried about the branch breaking because the bird has wings. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can do it too. I mean, branches are breaking all over the place, but I can do it too.
Mhm.
I also love, and I live by this. I guess I've lived my whole life, and it's evident that it's worked.
Right.
When you're driving at night and you have your headlights, you can only see a certain amount. You can only see a certain distance, but you trust that there's still road ahead of you. You don't keep braking. You keep going because even though you can only see this far ahead, you trust there's still road and the road will appear. And that to me, as a person in my career and in my life, I've had to trust that there's a road. Maybe not the best road sometimes. Maybe it's gravelly. Maybe there's potholes, but I will figure it out and I will navigate I'll be driving my life through this road. But that takes a lot
Mm.
for me, plugging into your higher power. If you're spiritual, the universe, whatever fulfills you, whatever drives you, quote unquote, you know, to quote forward, whatever is going to make you keep going is so important to me. It's so important in life that you really hear and listen to yourself.
Oh,
That's a long answer to
no, that's a great answer.
your
Look, I think it's an
multi-level
amazing.
question.
Yes, it's a wonderful example of transparency. But I love the analogy of this navigation of this GPS.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
so important and so
Yeah.
brilliant, and I thank you for that. And maybe it's your resiliency and this philosophy you have of life that has helped you see so much success. But on my show, we often talk about the story behind the glory. So, can you share a particular story of a turning point where you felt there was a major obstacle and then you overcame that obstacle to continue on your way?
Yeah, my mom died.
Mm,
I mean, there's a lot of obstacles, by the way. I don't mean to make light
I'm
about it.
sure.
Uh, yeah, when I moved to LA, I was escaping an abusive relationship. Uh, wow. So I literally hopped in my little car, my Ford, I don't know what it was, broke down a couple times. I drove to a friend's house, and I was starting my new life in LA. Had $2,000 in my pocket. Um, Stayed on his couch, and then, like, within months, they tell me my mom is very, very sick. She had some sort of palsy, what Dudley Moore had, and it was going to be bad. And they didn't give her but like a year or something, which she lasted 7 years.
Wow.
But I had just gotten to LA and gotten out of this really bad relationship, starting my life again. And now you're telling me my mom is slowly, progressively going to get paralyzed and in a wheelchair and is going to now like not be talking.
Mm,
Um, so I had to come back to Laredo, get some caregivers in order, fly back to LA, try to do my comedy of all things. Who wants to laugh, Mark?
mm,
Who, I mean, off, I mean, who wants to laugh when someone says your mom's going to die? But to me, I'm like, well, let me see how I can navigate these two things. I went back, and then I would come back. I had some little jobs, waitressing, whatever. Not even waitressing, bus girl, whatever. And then coming back, taking care of my mother, going back, but going back and forth for 7 years to and watching her go downhill.
mhm,
And back in the day, there was no like quick Google and internet. It was like really slow. It was like we had, that was early 2000s.
mhm,
It was limited support groups and stuff. So what I could find out, I got ahead of the ball and I printed all these things of what the disease was about and how to be ahead and watch for the signs. Anyway, the long and the short of it is that I went back and forth and I would still do some comedy gigs and do some jobs and would come back here and take care of her for 2 or 3 months and go back and forth. And I don't regret it because I was there to the very, very end, literally to the last breath. And it was, it taught me that it's not what you have to do, it's what you get to do. Because I resented that for a while, like, why me?
right,
I'm the freelancer. My sister and my brother have lives and they have their security and their retirement, and I have nothing, and blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, no, no, no. Of course, me. Look what I get to do.
mhm,
Look what I get to experience. Look who I get to be is my mother's caregiver, which was a huge honor and really a blessing. Who's made me who I am today, too. Your experiences make you who you are. And for me to be there in the final moments with my mother is a huge, huge deal, was a huge life changer. After my mother passed, it made me feel like this is the long, windy answer. Now of course I get to represent who she is.
mhm,
All the sacrifices, all the investment in my well-being that my mom and my dad, my parents gave and just put into me. For what? For me to just give up and not do this? No. I'm going to be the best person I could be, follow my calling, which is being a performer and a creative person, representing my mom. So if you even like me a little bit, it's because of her. Like
mm,
like I'm going to represent her. I'm going to be an extension of what you know, who she created basically. And so yeah, that was a huge, huge, huge changing point. to where I valued life more now. I valued situations and people and was grateful for my own health
Well,
and my life experiences. So
well,
that's the long answer to that question. But
no, these are honest. These are
I
private.
haven't thought of it, Mark. Thank you for asking. I didn't, that's so important, that question, really. Because I really had never been asked that in an interview.
It's
And
the
isn't it
educator in
ironic that
me.
I'm in
Right.
my house and she's
Yeah.
back here?
Yes, it's the perfect setting for this, and I cannot thank you enough for being so honest with your emotions. But I have to tell you, there's an educator in me at all times. That was my life for over 30 years, and I have to tell you, if I could take your attitude and your mindset, I could bottle it up in a pill or a perfume and call it represent. That's
That's
that's what I would
it.
that's what I would want to do. So,
Yeah.
can't thank you enough for that. And now it quite honestly makes more sense about your success and how you feel about it. So instead of asking, I like to ask deep questions, but now I'm just going to
Yeah.
say one word, and Sandra's going to tell me what it means to her. And here's the word: Broadway.
One word.
No, no, no. You don't have to give me one word. I'm saying one word.
Broadway.
You can give
Wow.
me a lot of words about
I'll
your
give you a lot of
perspective. What
words
does
because I'm
Broadway
learning.
mean to you, especially now?
Wow. Broadway is like how do you, have you ever been to the Grand Canyon?
No.
Have you ever been to like Niagara Falls or
Yes.
like a wonder of the world where
Mm-hmm.
you look at it and you go, how,
Yep.
what? Like my brain doesn't wrap around the grandiosity, the magnificence of like the Grand Canyon. Like it almost then looks like a painting. Like your brain cannot fathom what a hugely big deal it is that there's, and even when I'm in Broadway, it was I'm literally was on the stage at times where I was, with people, with an audience, it would hit me. I'm on fucking Broadway. Like on stage, like I'm on Broadway. And then, oh shit, I gotta sing. But it would hit me sometimes. And I mean, but it was strange. And I don't know if it happened to anybody else, but there were times where this beautiful ballad is happening in front of me, and I'm standing there listening to these singers and looking at this person sing that beautiful song
Mm-hmm.
and going, what? And I would start like crying out of nowhere, like, oh, and be moved that I was on Broadway with such an important, powerful show. Not just on Broadway, that's one amazing thing,
Sure.
living the dream, but this powerful, inspiring, important, relevant show that I helped to develop was on Broadway.
Mhm.
It was like a combination and a culmination of all the work and all the hope and all the faith and all the everything in my life that has come funneled into this beautiful project with these amazing, powerful audiences.
Sure.
I can't just answer it. I can't, I'm still processing what, like I'll see a video of like a mid-show standing ovation.
Yeah. It's incredible
And it,
because, yeah, when you talk about real women have curves, of course,
yeah,
and the fact for me, as somebody who's prepping to interview you, to see a Tony performance, that's Broadway on steroids. So
yeah.
it's just it's incredible, and I really wanted to get the perspective of the person who it happened to. And so, I love the fact that you're so in awe. And the comparison, you're the queen of analogies and
I
comparisons.
am the queen of
It may have to
analogies.
be a new title for you. I want 10%.
My poor
But
girlfriend's like, stop giving examples. I'm
yes,
like, well, that's,
absolutely.
yeah.
I just want to close with this, Sandra. The time flies when you have such a personal and emotional interview. But looking back on your career so far, what is something moving forward you'd want your legacy to be?
That everybody has a reason why they are on earth. There's everybody, every, that's my hard belief. We are all born for a reason, for reasons. What is our contribution to the planet? How are we going to leave it a little better than you left it? Do you know what is our contribution to this planet? That we're all worthy and worth. We all matter. Our voices count. Our contributions make a difference. We make a difference. Our words that we say, create and destroy, we make a difference. That's the legacy. To me, it's like for people to remember their greatness. And we're going to forget, but to come back to alignment and remember that we are good people. I don't know, somewhere along the line, shit happens to people that make you veer away from your holiness and your sacredness. Just to remember, why are we here? We're powerful, beautiful beings that need to create powerful, beautiful things. And we're kind and we're loving and we're made from love. I know I sound all woo-woo right now. I'm even listening to myself, but I don't care.
Right.
I don't care what you all think, because I really feel like, damn it, don't forget yourself.
Mhm.
And when you forget who you are, hopefully somebody will go, hey, Mark, let's come back to the alignment. Why are we here? What is your purpose? What is your contribution?
Well, I have to tell you that although the show is called Life Stories with Marc Hoberman, I don't give titles to the episodes. But this one would be a master class in resiliency. That if I titled it, that would be that. So, Sandra Valls, I cannot thank you enough, not just for joining us today, but sharing your personal stories with our audience. I am so happy to see you where you grew up. Back to the future, so to speak. And I wish you continued success, and thank you so much for being our guest.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for watching Life Stories with Marc Hoberman. To contact Mark, email him at info@lifestorieswithmarchoberman.com or visit him on social media through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Thank you for watching Life Stories with Marc Hoberman.